6 months ago, this scenario seemed impossible. Vinicius Jr was Real Madrid's most valuable player, protected by a €1 billion release clause, and the club had repeatedly stated they would never sell him. But now, in the summer of 2026, a completely different conversation is happening in Arsenal's boardroom. Could we actually bring Vinicius Jr to the Emirates? And if this happens, it won't just be a transfer. It could become the biggest transfer in Premier League history. So how did this situation get to this point? The answer lies in a simple contract matter. In 2024, Real Madrid signed Vinicius to a massive contract extending until 2027 with a €1 billion release clause. At the time, this looked like a move that would lock the player in forever. But in football, the word forever usually lasts about 2 years. Now it's the summer of 2026, and Vinicius has only 1 year left on his contract. This marks a critical threshold for Real Madrid. If the club cannot secure a new extension within the next 6 months, Vinicius will be free to sign a pre-contract agreement with any club 6 months from now, and could leave Real Madrid on a free transfer next summer. And this is exactly where Arsenal comes into play. According to sources, there has been no official club-to-club contact yet. But Arsenal's interest in Vinicius is real. Arsenal's management is aiming to strengthen their left-wing attacking options, and Vinicius isn't just one name on the list. He's by far the most attractive one. This is no coincidence. Arsenal won the Premier League title last season and are now trying to build a squad capable of dominating not just in England, but across Europe. Names like Julian Alvarez, Yan Diomande and Bradley Barcola are also on the radar, but none carry the symbolic weight that Vinicius does. On Real Madrid's side, the picture is more complicated. New manager Jose Mourinho views Vinicius as one of the most valuable players in the squad and wants to keep him at the centre of the Galactico project. Sources close to the club say Real remain confident the player will stay. This week, talks resumed with Vinicius's representatives over a new long-term contract. But there's another factor complicating things here: Yan Diomande. Real Madrid are also interested in the RB Leipzig winger, and under one scenario, the club plans to build a new attacking trio with Diomande on the right, Vinicius on the left, and Kylian Mbappe through the middle. This shows that Real Madrid aren't actually considering selling Vinicius. Quite the opposite. They want to place him at the centre of a new system. So why is Arsenal still so persistent? The answer is simple: risk management. If a deal isn't reached within 6 months, Real Madrid will be left with only 2 options. Either sell the player this summer and at least receive a transfer fee, or risk losing him for free. And history shows that big clubs never take that kind of risk. Let's look at the numbers. Over the past 6 seasons, Vinicius has made 235 appearances, scored 63 goals, and won 9 trophies, including 1 Champions League and 2 La Liga titles. His goal in the 2022 Champions League final took Real Madrid to the top against Liverpool. When a player at this level enters the market, the transfer fee is measured not just by performance, but by symbolic value. The Premier League's record transfer fee so far sits in the £100 to £115 million range. But in a transfer involving a name like Vinicius, when you combine the transfer fee, signing bonus, agent commissions and salary, it wouldn't be surprising at all for the total cost to exceed £200 million. That would make it not just a transfer, but one of the most expensive and highest profile operations in English football history. So realistically, what could happen? There are 3 scenarios. First, Real Madrid sign Vinicius to a new contract in the coming months, and all this speculation comes to an end. This is the scenario most aligned with the club's current official stance. Second, talks stall and Real Madrid, unwilling to risk losing him for free, put the player up for sale before the summer of 2027, meaning at the end of this season. In this case, Arsenal emerges as the strongest candidate. Third, and perhaps the least discussed but most realistic possibility, Vinicius himself may be deliberately dragging out the process, just as he did 2 years ago. Back then, he stayed silent for months and ultimately secured the club's highest offer. This time he could be following the same strategy, except now there's an Arsenal at the table. In conclusion, this situation is far from over. Real Madrid don't want to lose one of their most valuable players. Arsenal are chasing a historic opportunity, and Vinicius Jr is approaching one of the most critical decisions of his career. The next 6 months won't just shape one player's future, they'll shape both clubs' season planning. And if this transfer really happens, the Premier League's transfer record books will be rewritten. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.